All right. Well, let's just give this a shot, shall we? Um, it's been a hot minute since I've posted to YouTube. It's been a hot minute since I've recorded like a proper long form video like this. I've really been spending a lot more time in terms of content stuff, really just doing Instagram. Not really a good job of it, I guess, but I've been a lot more consistent on there just because it's super easy just to take a selfie sort of a video and do it that way. But yeah, I don't think I've posted since late December of 2025. A couple reasons for that. In the beginning of this year in 2026, I really wanted to focus on getting into the University of Austin. I don't remember if I ever talked about that in the vlogs, but around October of 2025, I got the idea that I wanted to go, and I decided to act on that. Since then, I have taken a bunch of SATs and CLTs and the standardized tests that the school accepts. And then I got in, fortunately. It took a lot of studying and, months of hoping that I could, get my score high enough to get in. And I did. I fortunately did. Yeah, and I think that was kind of the first big win of this year so far. I mean, technically 2026 isn't over, but I think because I got in, it's a pretty big success because to me, it just shows that, I can study up for stuff and actually improve my knowledge to get access to bigger and better opportunities, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained the reasons why that I wanted to go. I saw what they're putting together. It's still like a startup university in a way. I think they've only got two. Like I'd be the third class. I'll be in the third class that the University of Austin will have, and in a way, it seems kind of like, oh, it's not for sure. But to be honest, I wasn't thinking about going to college to begin with because I didn't really see a point in it. It just seemed like more of high school to me, which I didn't like at the very end. Like you should see the transcript for my last semester of high school, dude. Yeah, it was bad. I had the most severe case of senioritis like ever. It was bad. Um, because I was just sick of it. I was just tired of all of it, of the basically like the just pointless schoolwork. I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't connecting with people. None of the people I was talking to were like super ambitious or anything like that. And part of that's my fault because I also wasn't super, extroverted and reaching out to people, but it just never occurred to me. And so within that sphere, within that influence, within that thinking, I decided that it wasn't for me. But looking at what the University of Austin offers, the opportunity, the network that I could have access to, the people that are going there, the bar is set pretty high to get in there. It's a smaller school. The professors are actually very dedicated to what they do. They don't have like an actual tenure system, at least not yet anyways. And so things are, according to them, more rigorous. And I do believe that it will be a very rigorous and intellectually sort of stimulating thing. So that's kind of why I wanted to go. I think it's going to be a great challenge. I think a it's going to be something that's going to test my mind and my grit and my will and ultimately propel me further towards the things that I want to do, towards a more meaningful life, if that makes sense. Because as much as like self-discipline and figuring it out for yourself does stuff, having structure that requires stuff of you as opposed to you just kind of freeballing it, I think it helps a lot. And as unhappy as I was with the school system, it constrained my time. It constrained me in a way that I had to be more disciplined with the things that I wanted to do. So in a way, the structure helped my life. And this past year or so, year and a half, I guess, of not having that structure, it's been difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'm still trying to figure out how I can be better about that. And, I'm not going to school constantly. So I think this will be a good opportunity to have a crutch in a way for structure, but also I won't have the same comforts because I'm going to be out of town. Like right now I live in the St. Louis area. I'll be moving down to Austin, Texas. So I'm going to be in a completely different area, different room, different people I'm around. I'm not going to be in the same environment. I'm not going to be talking to the same people. I have the chance to reinvent me and how I act and how I move around in the world. Because right now, everything is familiar, everything is comfortable, and you can, from my experience, you can change things pretty drastically, but sometimes it's very hard to as well because you're in the same patterns, you're in the same environment. So I'm looking forward to the change, to say the least. That's a long-winded answer to why I haven't been posting recently. For the past half year, 6-7 months, 6-7. For the past 7 months, 8 months, almost. It's almost August now. Shoot, crazy. But yeah, that's why. Some other things that have happened though, because this is kind of just a full recap episode before I kind of dig into what I kind of want to start doing now with the YouTube channel here, is the past year. So I think I recorded my first 50K on this channel. So it was the Dogwood Canyon 50K up down in Lamp, Missouri. It's an awesome race. I had so much fun there. It kind of sparked this great desire in me to do something even harder and to challenge myself even more to see if I could actually run the full 100 miles, because I think it was in like early 2025 or whatever, whenever I first heard about ultramarathons, and then, or yeah, early 2025, whenever I first heard about them, and then having run my first one in November of 2025, I was still pretty hyped about it, but it's only a 50K, only a 50K, but it was a 50K, and I wanted to run like the sacred, if you will, 100-mile distance, because it's like, maybe it's craziness, maybe it's some form of masochism where I just hate myself, but I don't think that's the case. It's just such an interesting achievement, because whenever you look at someone like myself, who I want to say I'm particularly gifted athletically, like I can't jump super high, I can't run super fast. I never had that sort of like innate bounciness or like explosiveness. But in soccer and through track, I found that, just the idea of training and the idea of just kind of enduring, I got used to that idea, and I started liking it a lot. And so ultra marathons are kind of like the ultimate expression of that, and just seeing how far your body can go. All that to say, I signed up for a 100-mile race up in the Badlands, which this is the bib for, actually, called the Ma Da trail run. They had a couple of distances, but I signed up for the 110-mile race that they had. They changed it from the last year. It was 116, but they changed the course, so 110 miles. I signed up for that in January of this year, 2026, and I spent the entire year up until just recently preparing for that race, because this race was 4 days ago now, just about 4 days ago. And yeah, I really hated and enjoyed the prep at the same time. I almost quit a couple times. I got hurt a couple times, not severely, but enough to where I had to change things around. And I learned a lot about the training, about how my body responds. I actually took the lessons from my previous mistakes seriously. I didn't, blast myself with volume or intensity or anything like that. And I actually just built capacity. And the entire training block, January to frickin' July, late July, I'm actually very, very proud of it. I obviously there are things I could have done better. I'll be the first to admit that. Maybe I could have run more. Maybe I could have been less of a wimp in certain areas. Maybe I could have been smarter about my recovery. I could have slept more. I could have been this, that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I think I did build my capacity up. I think I did prepare myself pretty well. And I'm pretty proud of the work that I did put in. But with all that being said, whenever it came to race day, I did not end up finishing the race. It's kind of hard to be mad about it, though, because at the end of the day, going from 50K, which is just over 30 miles, to 110 miles it's a big ask. It's over 3 times the amount. It's like 3.5, maybe, something like that. Yeah, 3.5 the amount of distance that I've ever ran throughout the entirety of my life. So it's kind of hard to be mad at failing at that goal whenever it was a lofty one. I'll admit that, and I think I was a little bit arrogant in thinking that it I did have this thought that it would be pretty easy, but it was not. It certainly was not. But I didn't end up finishing the race, to say the least. I ended up quitting, dropping out at mile 58, just after the turnaround point, because I had some severe pains in my hips. My hip still is a little messed up now. It's not like shooting pains or anything, but it feels off kilter. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. It's like the muscle is weirdly loose or something. So I don't know. I'm still getting it figured out, but besides that, most of my other extremities are feeling okay, and I'll take that as a win, considering I went almost double what my previous distance PR was. I never ran past 50K in my training, and so yeah, going almost 60 miles is pretty dang good. I think I ran for like 16 hours. I mean, it's adding hours and hours and hours on feet that I've never done before. I basically went into the unknown there. And yeah, I figured out where my body was like, hey, this is probably not the right move. Now, in the race, could I have potentially kept going? Maybe. Yeah. I definitely could have been smarter in the race. I went out too hot, like I did in my first race, but I didn't blow up immediately. I just got overheated in the beginning, and I did probably break myself down a little bit too fast. So you live and you learn. I felt really good. I thought I was able to keep it up, but I unfortunately was not. So it is what it is. I made some mistakes gear wise. Like I tightened my shoes way too much, so my feet just started aching, and I didn't realize that I should have loosened them until I was you know just absolutely crushed spiritually and like mentally. Dumb stuff, but things that I have significantly learned from now and that I will take into my next race. That being said, um, I will also say that probably this is probably one of the hardest 100 milers that like that people don't talk about, in my opinion. There was maybe 40 entrants. It's not. I wouldn't say it's something as crazy as something like a Badwater or like a big 200-mile race or anything like that. But I would say it's certainly a challenging race because it's in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota, and you're running through these grassy plateaus slash desert ish areas with like mini plateau mountains everywhere. The elevation gain isn't like crazy as something like a mountain race or anything, but it's still substantial for like a Midwest race. And there is no tree cover. There's maybe like 100 meters worth, maybe a little bit more of tree cover over like the entire course. It's crazy. Um, it's very exposed. It's very hot. It's very dry out there, and the sections can be very long. There's one section that is like 11 miles long, and that's the section where I had a lot of trouble on that section personally. But beyond that, it's a tough race. That's not really excusing some of my like poor judgment in terms of executing the race, but getting to that race, actually completing it, it wasn't. I wouldn't say is necessarily in my favor. You know what I mean? Having not even ran a 50 miler before. But you know, just to give a disclaimer, but I still think maybe I could have finished it. You know what I mean? But ultimately, the reason why I didn't want to finish was because even if I could, I think I would have faced the risk of having to spend a lot more time recovering. Like, my hip is meh now, but imagine I spent another, 50 miles on it because I was at almost mile 60. So I had 50 more miles to go. What kind of damage would I have done to not only my hips, but because of that, the compensation, maybe my knees get messed up, maybe my ankles and my Achilles get messed up, and so on. Maybe my back gets messed up for whatever reason, right? In my opinion, finishing my first race, my first 100-mile race, isn't worth that because I'm going to school in a month. I want to be able to, like, train and move around, not be a cripple. And I also really hate being injured. So I'd rather not finish a race than be injured at the end of the day. I don't think my ego is that big. I'll have the arrogance to go into the race to think like, oh yeah, I'll do this and that, but you know, I'll just quit if it gets to the point where I think I might be injured or run the risk of getting injured. So yeah, there's that. I think that's it really in terms of all that's happened recently. The race, getting into the University of Austin. Just been working part-time stuff. Quit the other job. I might have expressed that, but I quit my full-time thing at the construction company. And I've just been doing part-time stuff at a restaurant. I actually really enjoy it because it's very flexible, and probably could do a little bit more in terms of work, but I'm so close to school now, I'm not really going to try and get hired by any place nearby, so we'll just go ahead and thug it out. Maybe get a part-time job while we're down in school so I don't have to, so I can pay rent. So, yeah, that's all that's been going on. I guess now I can kind of discuss. Oh, one last thing. This thing is from, maybe, I hope that's in frame, but basically it's a medal for winning a overnight race. It's kind of why I had a little bit of hubris going into the 100-mile race. I did this overnight run. It wasn't a super long one. It was technically a 6-hour race. Technically only ran for like 4.5 hours, but I ended up winning that race, which was pretty dope. But yeah, it was only 4.5 hours. I ran like 20 miles, but it was pretty sweet. So, races under 20 races in that like 20, 15-mile range, I think I'm pretty good at. Because like at the 100-mile race, I was in the lead for, within the first, 15 miles or so. And then it kind of went downhill after that. So, maybe a trail half marathon is within my cards right now. So I'll have to keep that in mind. But besides that, what do I have got going? What do I have got going on? What kind of English is that, dude? I will be going to school next month, so these next few weeks really are just kind of like recover from the race, kind of rebuild the base a little bit, and kind of get figured out on the educational side of school. Try to really instill the habit of learning and creating and speaking, because there's going to be a lot of speaking at school, and this is probably a great way to improve my speaking ability. And it'd also be kind of cool to have a personal brand, so I should probably, actually make some more content. Maybe not even stuff that is fake or like scripted or anything like that, but just stuff that I actually want to watch. I'm going to try and figure out what kind of content style that I would truly want to listen to and watch, and I'm going to try and create that for whoever is watching this. Because if you like me, then you probably like the stuff that I like to watch as well. That's kind of the vibe that I want to go for. But yeah, better communicator, better reader, better everything. Why not, But I want to improve intellectually before school, so I want to read as much as I can. Going into school, I want to save up as much money as I can by working when I can. So we'll do that. That's the plan for up until we get to school. Then we're going to move down to Austin, Texas. I'm not exactly sure on how things are going to work down there, but I'm going to be in a room, or not a room, but an apartment with like 7 other dudes. It's one of those big ones, and unfortunately I didn't get the smaller one with only 4 rooms. I got cut off. I yapped for like another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to do that again because that'd be kind of weird. So basically, to recap, in the future here, I'm going to be doing school. I think I was talking about that. I'm doing school stuff. And yeah, I'm going to be doing school. Going to come back for winter break, do winter break stuff, have fun, train, work so I can save up some more money, etc., etc. But the thing that I wanted to state here at the end of the video was I'm going to be doing another race in January of 2027. I'm going to be doing the Iron Horse 100K. At least that's the plan right now. The Iron Horse 100K down in Paris, Texas. Because it's a flat race. It's just a little bit longer than my all-time PR now in terms of distance. And I'm going to spend a lot of time over the course of school, over the course of the winter break, getting fast, getting fit, and preparing for that race. So that's kind of what's next for me. I hope I hope within that 20 something minutes you could tell that I've recapped everything sufficiently. But that's kind of what I got going next. It's kind of what I got going next for school as well. School stuff. Learning. But beyond that, if you want to follow this journey, you should subscribe to this channel. You should subscribe, like right now. Yeah. You should share this video with people and like it as well. Beyond that, I don't really have much else to say. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.